Good morning, everyone. To our newest Blue Devils, welcome to Duke. I know that it's been a long morning with a lot of people telling you where to go and what to do, and I definitely intend to stick with that tradition. So I'm going to ask all of you to stand up. Now raise your hand if you're standing next to someone that you know. Maybe that's your roommate or someone that you met during Blue Devil days. Those of you with your hands raised, I'm going to ask you for a favor. I'm going to ask you to move just a few spots, but shuffle in your row and stand in between two people that you've never met before. Chaos commences. Try to find a seat. I know that felt a bit awkward. I know that felt a bit awkward, and honestly, it was supposed to. I've just introduced what is referred to in ecology as a disruptive factor, something that uniquely changes the status quo, makes you uncomfortable, and forces you to adapt. See, you'll find that at Duke, it's easy to find your so-called ecological niche, whether that's your sports team or your freshman focus. Duke is a place where it's easy to feel comfortable. So here's my advice. Whatever you do, never let yourself get comfortable. See, there's this huge emphasis in college to find your people and find your major. But rather than hunt down what you think you want, why not let those things find you? Maybe the way we're supposed to find ourselves is not to settle down with the first thing that we find comfortable, but to continuously expose ourselves to different clubs, academic departments, and people. And maybe if we remain uncomfortable, the process of finding ourselves never actually ends because we're always changing and adapting to the new disruptive factors in our lives. Now, this may sound simple, and you might have heard it before, but it's much more difficult than you would think. See, we all have this natural tendency to seek familiarity. I only realized how important discomfort would be when my disruptive factor came in the form of a sweater. Let me explain. I walked into my Writing 101 class as a first year, and my friend Alan was wearing a new sweater. When I complimented it, he explained that it was the new apparel for the men's rowing team. And when I jokingly asked if I could join the men's rowing team, he replied, "Yes, actually, you can. We're looking for a new coxswain." He explained that the coxswain was the person that sat in the front of the boat, navigating, motivating, and coaching. Somehow, the idea turned from a frivolous joke to a conceivable suggestion. And at 5 a.m. on a cold January morning, standing at the edge of a lake, peering down at my reflection, I realized what I had just done, and that I had never looked more terrified in my life. Attempting to lead a group of 8 men, seemingly twice my height and pumped up with adrenaline, knowing that I had never done a team sport or touched an oar, was enormously uncomfortable. Many months, many calluses, and one boat crash later, I realized that it was this experience, one initiated due to a sweater, that taught me about the real sacrifice and commitment to leading any team. Gaining the trust and respect of these teammates, through a lot of trial and error, ultimately gave me the confidence to run to be your student government president. There were a few other discomforts along the way, disruptive factors. It wasn't until I signed up for a class cross-listed as biomedical engineering and women's studies that I realized I wasn't pre-med. It wasn't until I decided to live in an independent house rather than with my selective living group that I met the people I otherwise never would have encountered, including my best friend at Duke. So why is it so critical to seek out discomfort now? 3 reasons. First, discomfort requires exposure to new ideas. It requires diversity, and as Dean Gutentag said, Duke is one of the most diverse places you will ever live. Look around you. For maybe the first time in your life, most people here aren't like you. They don't have the same background or experiences, and so, as tempting as it may be, do not seek out the few who look like you and think like you to segregate yourself into a small world. Remember, sharing a hallway or a classroom with others is not the same as engaging with and learning from them. Take advantage of the prime opportunity for the discomfort that Duke offers. Second, all of us come to Duke with a shell carefully composed of our biases and perceived truths. But if the purpose of college really is to help us grow, we have to break that shell. Only by making yourself uncomfortable do you expose the vulnerability of your beliefs that you hold about yourself and about the world. The discomfort of challenging your beliefs is what will underlie your growth. And third, discomfort fosters empathy, an overlooked but vital skill. We're living in a world increasingly mired with people's inabilities to hear one another, so entrenched in their own views. But if you all keep yourselves uncomfortable, you'll spend these next 4 years building a common language, becoming fluent in empathy, and validating each other's experiences. You'll leave Duke with a mind much bigger than the one that you have now, the mind that you would come to Duke to build. This is the mindset that our generation will need if we hope to fix the broken parts of the world, whether that's through civic engagement, medical advances, or business ventures. Now, no one will be reminding you throughout college to stay uncomfortable. You are now responsible for that task, for taking the art history class that you never knew existed, for sitting at a marketplace table with people that you've never met before, or maybe just met now, for seeking someone out that has the completely opposite political view, at least to hear it. Introduce your own disruptive factor. Be a disruptive factor. Find your sweater at Duke. You're here because someone knew that you could. Congratulations, class of 2020, on beginning the best 4 years of your life. Thank you.